Hello, welcome to yet another video. My name is Jesse, Diana, we are the Ainebioners. Today we are going to be sharing an experience that we have had with dealing with exposure of gadgets to our children. So we are going to be sharing something that we have had deep conversations about, and something that has happened also lately that we thought we could bring you a bit of experience as far as gadgets and children are concerned.
Yeah.
So, Diana, tell us, we are going to do the before and then what happened and then after, okay? So before, let's begin with our personal experience with growing up with gadgets in our homes.
Okay.
Since mine is brief, I think I can start.
Yeah.
Growing up, I had very limited exposure to technology. First of all, we had no smartphones, and the only gadget we had in our home was a television. And this TV was always locked. It was locked up in my parents' home. In fact, I only remember that my dad, there was a particular program that we used to watch that my dad was very intentional that we should watch it. This was the Fresh Diary quiz that used to happen on Saturday evening at about 6 p.m. So he would come, it was an academic program. So he would come, remove the television, and we would watch together, okay? That was the only time we would watch TV during that day. The rest was maybe in the evening for him to watch news and a few other programs. So how that influenced me is that growing up, I really never had any much interest to do with television. As a matter of fact, even when I stayed alone, when I left home, I had no TV and I was okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so briefly, that is my experience with television. Then, tell us about your own experience with gadgets, TV.
Yeah, so I think for us, we were allowed to watch TV. And I remember every time my dad would travel, he would come with the latest cartoons, you know. That was like in the 90s, so there were cartoons like Peter Pan, Sword in the Stone. So we would watch. Of course, there were rules like you have to be sleeping by, let's say, 9. So obviously you wouldn't watch beyond then. And then also there was news at a certain time, maybe 8 or 7. And then, you know, once the parents have started watching, then you would not get to watch. But we were really allowed. I remember even like after school, I think if you had finished your homework, then you could watch a bit. So there was not like too much restriction.
Okay.
I remember then maybe in secondary when we were on holiday, it would also be a thing of you have to sleep by a certain time.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't watch beyond that time. But other than that, like there was no heavy, you cannot watch TV.
Yeah.
The TV was not locked away. I think we would even have like a TV in the sitting room. I remember like primarily there was like a TV in the sitting room and I think like in the bedroom. So really,
you'd say moderate exposure to TV.
Yeah, and then I think I got a phone when I was in S1. I think S1, but then still, like really at that time, it was just SMS and calling.
True.
But then I remember even later when now I think there was internet and there were pictures that you could do on phone. If it would get to like 9 and you're still on phone, then my mom would be like, you cannot be on phone.
Continue with this.
Yeah, beyond that time.
Good. So fast forward, here we are now parents.
Yeah.
And many times the way we respond to life is the way we did it when we were growing up. Yeah. So here we are, God blesses us with children.
Yeah.
And then we also have the TV in the house, you know? Yeah. So how does this impact how we limited or how we dealt with our children's exposure to technology? Maybe for personally what I felt was TV is not good for children. Okay, that's just what I felt. However, you felt slightly different. That maybe it would be good for them to watch.
Yeah, I think for me it was even that like TV is entertaining. So, you know, some entertainment, like really, who doesn't need entertainment in their lives? So if there is, you know, like let them have some entertainment. There's a time for education and then there's a time for entertainment.
Sure.
And TV is entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah, so I had that angle. But what I didn't want them to be exposed to too much TV.
Yeah.
And I always had a limit because I felt like, like you're just sitting in one place and you're not moving and you're just watching TV. And so I always felt like, like even though I'm going to allow you to watch, it will be limited because I didn't like the whole idea of sitting in one place and you're not moving, you're not active, you're not thinking because you're just watching. And then I was concerned about things like obesity, and I always felt like maybe kids these days are obese because they're just sitting watching TV, and then your mind is not, you're not allowing your mind to work. And then also because I love books, books was always like a first option as opposed to TV. Then of course also not knowing the kind of programs, like there's hidden agendas and things like that. So those were my biases about TV, but I felt like if there are good programs you can watch, then you can watch. Then also of course I also have the issue of eyes, because I've seen people whose eyes have been affected by watching a lot of TV or a lot of exposure to gadgets. So I had my reservations because of that.
Very true. Yeah. So to strike the balance, we decided that they are going to watch TV.
Yes. It was always like you can watch for like an hour. Yeah, like you can watch for like an hour, and then also we would try to limit the programs, like what can you watch. And so I felt like an hour is a bit long, but to strike the balance, I said let's do the hour. So what did you begin to observe, or what did we begin to see with our daughter Ruby? So I think it would always happen on and off. So there would be times when she's watching even more than an hour, and then during those times you'd notice that she's very irritable. And then you'd be like, okay, now enough of this. And then we would, see what other programs she's been watching, and is it taking too long? And then we would go back to either no TV or very limited TV, because there would be seasons when it's like a month or 2 months and they are really not watching anything except maybe watching those song videos and maybe watching a bit of Superbook. So there would be those seasons. And like sometimes it's a season where maybe I don't know what, something happens, and then they just started watching more they were watching more TV than so I noticed that actually this last season was because her books for school delayed. And it felt like, oh my goodness, she's so bored, so let her watch a bit extra, because it seemed like she was bored. And it was like, okay, let her watch. Once school starts, then
back to normal.
Life will resume. So that's when we got caught up in that.
And then, so what do we notice? We notice that she's getting irritable.
So she was getting irritable, and then also now the biggest thing is she was not sleeping well at night. You take her to bed at 8:30, by 11 she's still awake. She's just tossing and turning. And then also she would get irritated by little things. Gets out of bed and she's like, the sister is banging, is making sounds, banging on the bed. And I was like, really? And when I'd come and say, okay, what exactly is she doing? You find that she's doing something so tiny, but she's so irritable. So I think for me now, that was when I was like, what is going on? First of all, why is she taking long to sleep? And then when I asked someone, that person asked me about her nighttime routine. And then when I mentioned that she had been watching an hour of TV between 7 and 8 and then going to bed at 8:30, they were like, that's a problem. And then also she had been watching these flashy cartoons.
Very fast.
Very fast, very flashy, with superheroes and villains and all that. And for me, when I saw her watching them, those are things which we were watching when we were in primary. But now I got to know that when you're older, 9, 10, 11, you can handle a bit of that. But at her age, she's 5, she can't handle it. So those things were not good for her. So now when I notice she's not sleeping well at night, and then that day when we said enough, she became so irritable. And I remember that time, because now we had gotten into this pattern where you can watch for an hour during the week, and then on Sunday you can watch as much as you want. And so I remember that Sunday you had told her that 10 more minutes, watch for 10 more minutes, and then you can keep it. And then she misunderstood and thought you had said stop watching now. And you can watch again after 10 minutes. And she got so upset. She was so upset, and I was like, no, Like
not
this
worth
this is not normal.
Yeah.
She would get, and then also even I noticed that in this season she would be getting so, like if I would say you have to stop, she would be getting upset. And if I would have to say, okay, you'll watch in the evening, she would, keep pestering.
Yeah.
Can I watch now?
Pleading.
Can I watch now? Is
Yeah.
it time yet? And for me that was exhausting.
Yeah.
I felt like this is not worth it.
True.
Yeah.
I also noticed that she had style of speech.
Yeah.
People begin to talk like the things they watch,
Yeah.
Yeah, you find someone talking like a cartoon and you're thinking, okay, this is not normal. This is not good. So right about that time, you have a conversation with someone who suggests that maybe the reason she's not sleeping
Yeah.
is because of this exposure to TV shortly before going to bed.
Yeah.
So we make a drastic move.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so that time I said, like, if I had to choose between the two, watching and not watching, I'd rather do away with it completely.
Yeah.
And so we said, let's first do away with it until she gets it out of her system, and then we can figure out, a way forward, like what is a healthy,
way to,
yes, what is
for
a
her
healthy
to be
way,
exposed.
yes, what's
Yeah.
a healthy way for her to have screen time.
Yeah.
And even the programs that she's watching, because is it the programs, is it the amount of time, let's first go and understand that, and then we can come back and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Yeah, so for me that was, I think, let's first stop and take it out of you, like first get to know that there is life without it. Like it can happen that you can be there without screens. And it's not just TV, but it's watching YouTube on the phone, on tabs and iPads and things like that.
Crazy.
Even games, on the phones and the iPads.
Sure.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks later now, as we speak now, it's been 3 weeks of limited, not even limited, no screen time, really, apart from her academic work. So just for us to understand the context here is that she also does her academic work on the screen, and that's the primary reason why we thought it would be a good thing for her to get it, so that she may not use the small screen, but have a bigger screen.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks of this policy of no, screen time for entertainment and all. What are some of the things you have personally observed?
So one of the first things, which was immediate, is she started sleeping better.
Okay, so one, sleep got better.
Yeah, immediately. You take her to bed and she would sleep.
Yeah.
Even times when it would take her maybe a certain amount of time before she sleeps, she would not be irritated.
Yes.
And I was thinking, what? Like all of a sudden, I could hear her sister kicking the bed, but now she's not irritated.
So all factors constant, but you're not irritated and you're sleeping.
Yes.
The way you never used to sleep under the same conditions.
Yeah. Okay. But then also, first of all, like moving from TV to no TV, I remember that first day, because we stopped it on a Sunday, and I remember Monday I had to leave the house because she kept pestering and asking why can't she watch it, and I had explained, and I felt like I can't. I will go mad. So I said, let me get out of the house. And when I left, of course, I knew I had to keep away the remote. But when I came back, the maid said that she had asked if she could watch, and the maid said she couldn't. Yeah, so then also she had gotten to this thing of I'm bored. That thing of I'm bored, it stopped. Have you heard her saying I'm bored? Yeah. She doesn't say I'm bored anymore. Yeah, so she knows that, because that thing of I'm bored is, can I watch TV?
Yes.
So once
nothing to do, so I want to watch.
Yeah, so now that she knows that TV is not an option, she didn't even say I'm bored.
Yeah.
Like she'll find what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then the other thing is, now she got so interested in art.
Yeah.
Which was for me amazing, because we come from an artistic family.
Sure.
So to see that she's interested and she's trying, and she's waking up in the morning first thing, she's on her table trying to do her art. Before she's going to sleep, she's on her art all day long. Yeah, so that we would never have known that this was something that she liked, because now her mind is free, to think,
create.
Yeah. And even though it was that we were doing 1 hour of TV, I think all day she would be thinking about that time coming, that she couldn't even think about other things.
True. And there were also times when you would be on the table, and then you see she's in a she's gone off.
Yeah.
She's in her own world.
She's in dreamland.
And most likely, she's thinking about what she watched.
Yes.
Not anymore.
Yes. Yes. Also that daydreaming.
Yes, that daydreaming.
Yeah, has gone.
Also the verbal mannerisms, the speech is now back to normal.
Yeah.
You know, the person is talking normally, not like a cartoon anymore. But also one other thing, recently they visited their grandmother.
Yeah.
And we put an incentive and said, Ruby, if you go and you don't ask for her phone, you don't ask for TV, you don't ask for anything, Daddy will buy you a present.
Yeah.
You know, so she went and did exactly that.
Yeah.
There was nothing like asking for a phone. No, they didn't switch on TV for how many days? There were 4 days. And they had amazing conversations, good bonding, without any entertainment from a TV, a phone, or any gadget of any kind.
Yeah.
And you know, those are things that were not there before.
Yeah.
But today you can have a conversation, you know what she's thinking, and that is what happens when you can begin to limit or begin to check your children's exposure to technology.
Yeah, and they had really wonderful conversations.
Deep.
Yeah. They were so funny. They were so, but even Mommy was like saying that they had really got to bond this time.
Yes.
Because there was no distraction of watching TV or things like that. Yeah.
So Dana, any parting shots on this issue of technology and gadgets, and what would you advise a parent out there who is probably dealing with something that we have been dealing with? What would you tell them?
Okay, so for me, first of all, I understand why parents give their children TV. First of all, you feel like they will miss out, and then you feel like it's their entertainment, or they will be bored, or they're asking for it, or they will feel left out from their peers if they are not watching, things like that. Or even you, just a parent, you want time by yourself, and you want them to give you some free time, and you know that if they're on TV, they will. But I think for me, what I've seen is that the cons of screen time is far outweigh the benefits. They far outweigh the benefits, and we can teach our children to learn to entertain themselves. And we need to know that we are not entertainers. Like, we're not always having to give them something to entertain them. We need to teach them how to entertain themselves. So knowing that, and not thinking like TV is the only option, that there are other options on how they can keep engaged without feeling like TV is the only thing. So let them do things. I mean, you see now, like Mariah is 2, but she's busy all day with her
toys,
things.
Cutting, painting, drawing.
Yes, and you see all these ideas, you can get them from the internet. What are the activities for a 2-year-old? Just Google what are activities for a 3-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, and then not feel like, even if they say they are bored, even adults, we get bored. But you see, your boredom is a time for you to find what to do, figure out what to do. But if we are raising our children and helping them to always be entertained, you're always giving them entertainment. Now, like, I don't know what kind of adults they will end up being, who constantly are craving entertainment. Like, they don't even have a quiet moment. To just sit down with their thoughts. Like, they don't know how to do that because they've just grown up with entertainment, and it's so I don't know what it does to your brain, but it's too much. Too much, it's too much that you're constantly being bombarded with
things that you cannot even handle.
So now we will either we'll read books, or they will just play. Of course, what it means now is that the house is way more messy. If you're to see what is around us, it is a mess. But for me, I've said it's okay.
It's better.
It's okay. I rather have this mess than the mess in the brain. So it's messy, but it's okay. I'm like, they are learning, they are growing, their brains are active. Let them do what they need to do. What I do now is clean up your mess. Just come and
mess it and clean up your mess.
Clean it up. So maybe they may not do it perfectly, or they will complain, but they are learning. Again, this is learning. So to just know that it's a process, and we have to go through that process. But for me, it's been worth it.
Very true.
Yeah.
There's a scripture that says, train up a child in the way you should go, so that when they grow, they will not depart from it. And if TV does the training, no doubt about it, it will still apply.
Yeah.
The TV will train up a child in the way they should go, or the way they will go. And when they grow, they will not depart from it.
It's true.
A few hours ago, we were talking about someone who is known to both of us, and clearly in his adulthood now, he is what he is because of unlimited exposure to TV when he was young.
Yeah.
So you can literally see that his life is playing out because that TV is the one which raised him.
True.
So what choice will you make as far as your children are concerned? Don't leave them to whom it may concern.
Yeah.
Raise them intentionally, limit exposure, and even when you do it on purpose. Doesn't mean that they don't watch. There are things they watch, but we know that we are watching with them and they are good and safe for them.
Yeah.
So that has been our experience on how to deal with gadgets in a home. I hope it helps you. Check it out, and hopefully you can have your own story to tell, or even better still, what are you doing about it? So share in maybe the comments below. Share your own experience with how you are limiting your children's exposure to gadgets at home. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.